You need to stop fiddle about and really lock in because the time is running. It's only 8 weeks until summer is in full swing. And if you don't want to feel super uncomfortable in your body, if you don't want to have a summer like all the other summers,
oh man, I just don't really feel good about myself. I wish I would have started sooner. I wish I would feel a little bit leaner, a little bit healthier, a little bit lighter.
then you came to the right video. Congratulations. This video is all about your 8-week lock-in plan. This is the 8-week summer body plan that will literally change your life. In 8 weeks, I'm going away on holiday for my birthday to Italy. I want to look and feel amazing. It's a big birthday that is coming up and I want to be in the best shape of my life. To be honest, I've started really well in the beginning of the year. Then I went to South Africa for 3 weeks, and you know how it is when you're on holiday. Your routines are all out of the window. All my good habits, all my working out, all my eating healthy kind of just imploded. When I was in South Africa, I ate out every day. I drank quite a lot of alcohol. I don't really drink a lot when I'm just here in Berlin. And I didn't have my exercise regime that I have here. So here, I really walk a lot. I have a walking pad. I probably walk between 10,000 and 20,000 steps every day. I work out almost every day. And guess what? When I was on holiday, I barely did any of this. Not because I didn't want to. It's just because your routines are so different. You might travel around. You might sit in the car for a whole day. Like, you're just not going to be able to have the same routines, which is fine. But now we're gonna lock in. If you're right now watching this and there's 8 weeks until summer, you can still do it. Think about 8 weeks back where you were, and if you had really locked in for all this time from 8 weeks now, where would you be now? You would have made so much progress. You would have definitely lost weight. I'm gonna share with you the 6-step 8-week summer glow up plan. 6 steps to get skinny, to get lean without starving yourself or being unhealthy, because we're not unhealthy here. We're not doing crash diets. We're not gonna have like major restriction, because what happens when you do that is, I've done this many times before, you're just gonna start to binge after you reached your goal. But we're gonna do it in a healthy way because I want this for you to be sustainable. I don't want you to just drop weight for the summer, but I also want you to have the dream body that you want. I want you to lose the weight. How are you going to keep it off? You're not gonna keep it off if you never eat sugar, if you never have carbs. But because we only have 8 weeks now, we have to lock in, we have to be a little bit stricter, and you have to be in a calorie deficit. But I am not going to count calories, okay? You will learn in this video how you're gonna be in a calorie deficit without needing to track and count calories. For me, personally, I don't think that's sustainable. You're gonna reset your portion awareness. When it comes to weight loss, it's all about eating too much. It's about overeating. It's about eating when you're not hungry. It's about snacking all the time. It's about your portions are just too big and you finish a meal even though you might already be satisfied after half of the meal. This is literally the key aspect here, guys. You don't need to do calorie counting if you have proper portion control, because all calorie counting does is forcing you into clear portion control. Because if you only have a certain amount of calories for a meal, you obviously create a smaller portion for yourself. First of all, you can just have your normal portion and stop after half of it or 2/3 of it, and then check in with yourself and see if you're still hungry or not. And if you feel like you're satisfied, you have to stop. This is gonna be really hard. So you're gonna stop eating when you're satisfied. So really check in with yourself. Don't just finish your meal and then be like,
oh my god, this was too much.
Really take little pauses. Another way of doing this is just using smaller plates, smaller bowls for your meals. Right now in the morning, I will just use a smaller yogurt bowl to put my yogurt in, because when I use a bigger bowl, guess what? I want to fill it up. I want to fill it up with yogurt. I want to fill it up with granola, with fruit, with all the stuff, peanut butter, and then it's going to be a huge portion. And guess what? If you're an overeater and it's on your plate, you are going to feel the urge to eat this. We want to set ourselves up for success and really force us to eat smaller portions, because we want to be in a calorie deficit and we want to make sure that our stomach is going to shrink. It's not going to shrink if you eat huge portions, even if those portions are low calorie. What you can also do is use the half plate method. Half of your plate is veggies. A quarter is carbohydrates and a quarter is protein. Not half of your plate is carbohydrates and then a little bit of veggie and a little bit of protein. We want to have all the micronutrients. We want to have healthy fats, healthy carbs, protein, and we want to have a lot of fiber and veggies and fruit. plant-focused satiety, and protein. Getting enough protein and fiber will help you to feel fuller for longer, will help you keep your blood sugar stable. This is important because if you eat a lot of refined carbohydrates like white flour, a lot of sugar, you snack a lot in between meals, your blood sugar will always go up and then crash. First of all, you will feel this brain fog, you feel a little bit fatigued, you don't feel as energized and clearly focused as you would if you don't have those blood sugar crashes. But the most important thing is that it will actually increase your food noise. It will make you want to eat more. If you really work on keeping your blood sugar stable, so you really focus on protein, healthy fat, fiber, that will help you to keep your blood sugar more balanced and also not snacking so much in between meals. And that will definitely lower your food noise. The more food noise you have, the more urges you have to like eat, to overeat, and guess what? Then it will be obviously more difficult to be in a calorie deficit and to lose the weight in 8 weeks. We really want to get our focus from like just wanting to get skinny. Yes, we all want to have our dream body, but the main focus really needs to be I want to feel my best. And yes, you're going to feel your best when you have the body that you want. So if you're constantly under eating, you're not going to feel your best, but if you're constantly overeating, you're also not going to feel your best. If you eat when you're not hungry, you're not going to feel your best. You're always going to have also this guilt in the background where you're like, oh, shouldn't have done this. You're not going to have this constant self-doubt. You're not going to have this constant thoughts of, oh, I'm letting myself down. Once again, really destroying the self-trust that you have with yourself. I have a whole video on what you can eat in order to lose weight and to be healthy. A few examples that I can give you is really stock up on legumes, beans, lentils. They are amazing. They also have plant protein, so you don't only need to have animal protein. Then when it comes to plant protein as well, tofu, tempeh, soy-based proteins are really, really good for you. Don't be worried about soy. You're not going to eat it every day, all day. It's not going to be dangerous for you. Edamame is great. Also a great little snack. Then when it comes to animal protein, I really like Greek yogurt, skyr yogurt. You can make everything. I just made bagels with the yogurt. So they're like high protein bagels. They taste amazing. I have a yogurt bowl probably every day for breakfast, sometimes for dessert. They're just so versatile. Put some protein powder in there, put some berries in there, put a little bit of nut butter in there. Mwah. Eggs are amazing. Egg white omelette, super easy for lunch. Shrimps are amazing. These are all obviously animal proteins. Also make sure to include healthy fat like avocado, nuts, seeds, olive oil, but make sure to not go overboard with healthy fats. It's super easy to overeat on nuts. Keep the portions really small. A little bit of healthy fats goes a long way and you don't want to get over your calories. We can have everything and we need to eat healthy fats, but we need to make sure that we just mindful of the portion sizes. Like have a few nuts, maybe in your bowl in the morning as a little snack, but don't have a whole handful of nuts. Yeah, a whole handful of nuts, guys, is like 400 calories. So make sure to be mindful of that. This is going to be literally the most important part of it, because if you just solely focus on not overeating for 8 weeks, yeah, no snacking in between meals, no dessert if you're not hungry for it, no plate clearing even though you're already satisfied after half of the meal, all the little overeating things that you do throughout the day, if you completely scrap those for exactly 8 weeks, you're going to lose weight. And you don't need calorie counting, you don't need to stop eating things that you like, you just have to stop your overeating. And this is where my concept of future self eating comes in, that you're gonna start eating like your future self, like the person that you want to be in 8 weeks, in 16 weeks, in 3 months, in half a year. Like, who do you want to be? Think about that version of you, that future self. Think about how she looks, how she shows up for herself, what she believes about herself, and then think about her habits and routines, and especially when it comes to eating. How does she treat her body? Does she treat her body like a bin? Does she eat a lot of whole foods? Does she nourish herself? Does she eat to feel her best? Does she really don't like to overeat because she doesn't do it anymore? She's like, I don't want to overeat. It doesn't make me feel good. Think about what is her routine like. Does she just mindlessly grab a snack and it's like, mwah, 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 and then the snack is gone? And then she's like, oh man, I didn't even realize I ate that. And that was like 200 calories. So really think about who is this person? And then you're gonna start eating like her, behaving like her. No second meals. We're not going for seconds unless you're still really hungry, of course. If you're still hungry, have more food. If you have a normal portion, it's unlikely you're still gonna be hungry. You might still want to have some dessert. You might want to have a little snack after your dinner. You don't need to be full after your meal, especially if you still want to have a little bit of dessert. You need to be less full to still have space for dessert. Think about after the last thing that you eat for the evening, that's when you're going to feel satisfied. This is not when you're going to feel super full. So think about how much you need to eat for your main meal, then for your dessert, and then if you still want to have a snack. How small or big need to be the portion to be in order to still feel just satisfied, so that you don't feel like, oh my god, I need to lie down and roll into my bed by the last thing that you eat. If you just want to have dinner and you really want to enjoy your dinner, that's fine. Eat that, but then there might not be space for dessert. And you can also obviously change that for each day and each meal, and you can play around with it. But the main goal is always that you're not going to feel super full, that you feel satisfied when you have your last bite. When it comes to meals, you want to stop at 80%. Similar to what I just said, you want to feel 80% full. That's perfect. That's when you feel satisfied. That's when you can still move around. This is when you still have energy, because the goal of you eating is not to not feel an emotion or to feel good and feel happy and feel excited that you have food and feel all the dopamine hit. No, the actual main goal of you eating is to have energy. Your body needs food as fuel, as energy. So if you feel sluggish and tired and drained of energy after a meal, you've done something wrong. That is not the goal of eating. You ate too much, you ate too fast, or you ate the wrong thing. Have a kitchen closed rule. Have a certain time of the day when the kitchen is closed. For example, I have my meal in the evening and then I have a little bit of a dessert. And then I have a decaf coffee. That is kitchen closed. My decaf coffee is kitchen closed. After that, I brush my teeth. That's my routine. You might have a different routine, but you need to have some sort of routine where it's kitchen closed. Slow down your eating. You're eating too fast. When you eat too fast, you will probably eat too much. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes for your stomach to send the signal to your brain that you've had enough food. If you finish your whole meal in 5 minutes and then you snack and then you keep just eating, after 20 minutes, you know exactly that feeling. You feel overly full, and it is not healthy. Let's not just think about the feeling. Let's think about that. This is really not healthy for your gut microbiome, for your whole system. It's too much. And that's why you feel fatigue after you eat, because your stomach is so full, is so concerned now with digestion that it needs all the energy to digest this massive amount of food. And then what you're going to do is, at least for the next 8 weeks, I really want you to limit processed carbs. I'm not saying don't have it ever, but you're gonna limit it. First of all, they're really high in calories. Pastries, cakes, white breads, pasta. There are loads of great pasta alternatives, like lentil pasta, chickpea pasta, that will actually provide you with some protein, with some fiber, and actually make you feel better. I'm not saying don't have ever these foods. It's better to have it sometimes than to binge on it later on. If you have this refined carbohydrates for every meal, it's a lot of empty calories. There's no fiber in it. There's no protein in it. It will spike your blood sugar real bad. It will just increase your food noise. And what happens when you have a lot of food noise, you have the constant urge to eat, and it's going to be really hard to stay in a calorie deficit. So you want to allow them to avoid binges, but you just don't want to have them all the time. You will notice if you limit those, if you limit your sugar intake, your food noise will decrease. The more sugary stuff you eat, and refined carbohydrates are pretty much just sugar, your food noise will be so much more intense. No volume eating, because if you do volume eating, if you have big portions that are low calorie, that will not actually change your overeating habit. You will still overeat. You don't need to eat a huge salad so that you're really full, but it's still low calorie. Yeah, you might not eat a lot of calories, but you're eating a lot of volume, so your stomach will not actually shrink. But you want your stomach to shrink, so you need to eat smaller portions, because you want to get used to smaller portions, because the body that you want is going to have a smaller stomach. It's going to be used to smaller portions. If you want to be in a smaller body, you need to eat less. You need to be able to eat smaller portions. You might not want to hear that, but that is just a reality of thin people. They just don't eat a lot. Volume eating for me is still feel somewhat disordered eating. Volume eating is quite popular in the anorexia community, where people eat a lot of food but don't eat a lot of calories, so they feel like full, but they don't actually consume a lot of calories. That is not a healthy mindset when it comes to portion size and eating to feel your best. That's why I'm also not a big fan of this like diet foods, because it doesn't change your overeating behavior. But your overeating behavior is not healthy behavior, and that's what you need to change. You need to change the reason why you want to overeat. Yes, it's habitual, but it is also oftentimes an emotional eating response. You use food as a coping mechanism, and we need to get away from that. We need to practice to not do this anymore. We need to be able to sit with our feelings without needing to eat. Food is not your friend, and food is not your therapist. It is fuel for your body. And avoid eating more after a meal. I know this because I am an overeater, so I get it that after a meal you want to keep eating. There is the urge to eating because you try to distract yourself from something. You don't want to start work in the morning, you want to keep eating after breakfast. Maybe in the evening you want to keep eating because you just want to zone out and you don't want to feel anything. But you have to, for the next 8 weeks, stop this. The next 8 weeks are really your personal challenge to stop your overeating behavior. It's not gonna be easy, but you can do it. This is your 8 week challenge where you lock in and kick the overeating in the butt. So after a meal, I want you to do something different. I want you to get up. You need to do a pattern interrupt. I talk about this a lot. A pattern interrupt is when you have the awareness of what is happening, your automatic behavior, what you're gonna do. I want to keep eating after breakfast. You need to stop this. Pattern interrupt is then you do something completely different. You need to break the habit of keep eating. It's a habit. Yeah, it's just something that your brain drives you to do. It doesn't mean that you're weak. Don't make this mean anything that it's not. It's just a habit, and you need to break it. And it's not easy to break a habit that you may have been doing for quite some time, and especially if it helps you to cope with certain emotions. But it doesn't actually help you. It's not actually changing anything. You still have to start work. You still have to sit with the problems that you have. Overeating is not going to solve the actual issue. I want you to eat when you're hungry. So we want to get away from the idea of set meal time. So at 1 o'clock I have lunch, at 6 o'clock I have dinner. You might be hungry at 8 o'clock, you might be hungry at 9 o'clock. Really practice to wait for hunger. This is going to be difficult because you need a break, and having lunch is like a little break. You can still have a break. You can make yourself a cup of tea, you can drink some water, you can walk around a little bit, you can just be on your phone and scroll. You can still have a break without needing to eat when you're not actually hungry. And this will require dedication and some practice. Really stay committed for 8 freaking weeks. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have 3 meals and a little snack. It doesn't have to be really forced. Like maybe I'm not really hungry for lunch, then I just have a little snack. But what is important to me is breakfast. I love having a filling breakfast, and I like to have dinner, like a warm meal a day. I don't need like a proper meal for lunch, but maybe you are someone who likes to have a proper meal for lunch, and that's fine. What I'm doing doesn't necessarily mean that's what you need to do. So you need to think about what fits into your lifestyle, what is sustainable for you, what makes you feel good. For me, this is quite a good structure throughout the week, and on the weekend it might be different. I often don't eat lunch on the weekend. I just have breakfast and dinner and then maybe a snack in between. For me, it's just important that you stop the constant grazing. That's why I think the 3 meal strategy is quite a good one. I do also a 12-hour fast. So this is a circadian fast, and it just means that you have a kitchen closed window. Let's say stop eating at 8 p.m. and then you start eating at 8 a.m. in the next morning. That gives your body enough rest from digestion to take care of other functionalities in your body. It's great for your gut health. Yeah, your gut doesn't need to digest food 24/7. Give it a rest. Liquid calories for me are one of the easiest way to reduce calories. You don't need alcohol. Alcohol is literally just extra calories and poison for your body. I'm sure you can stop drinking for 8 weeks. Things like fruit juices, smoothies from the supermarket, they are like healthy. I've done a whole video on things that you think are healthy, but they're actually making you fat. Creamy coffees, generally sugary drinks, all the Starbucks stuff, the frappuccinos, the oat lattes, the matcha lattes with like the syrups. These are all high calorie drinks. These are treats. Like a matcha latte, depending on what milk you use, what syrup you use, can have up to like 400 calories. That's like 2 Snickers bars. So just limit them. Have them as special treats, special occasions. But in those 8 weeks, you want to lock in. It's so much easier to just stop drinking the liquid calories and actually eat your food. We're gonna get used to smaller portions. We're gonna stop the overeating, but we also want to increase our activity. Get to 10,000 steps a day. You need to make this a priority to move your body. We're gonna create a really active lifestyle because your future self is an active girly. My goal is actually for the next 8 weeks to do 20,000 steps every day. That is a lot. I get it, but I have a walking pad. I would not be able to do this without a walking pad. Walking pad, best investment ever. People keep asking me where I got my walking pad. I put a link down below where I got my walking pad. It's just from Amazon. It's a little bit of an investment, but guys, I use it all the time. I use it every day. It's so worth it. You can watch Netflix, you can watch YouTube, you can watch me. Why are you on your freaking walking pad? If you're already doing 10,000 steps, increase it to 15,000. If you're doing 5,000, increase it to 10,000. Level up. Do a workout daily. It doesn't have to be a long workout. It doesn't have to be an hour workout. You can do a 10-minute Joe Wicks YouTube workout, 10-minute, whatever, 20-minute Pilates workout with Movement with Nicole or something. You're gonna do a workout every day. At least that's what I'm doing. That's my plan. I'm doing a workout every day. I either do a YouTube workout, I go to the gym, I go for a run. Mix cardio and strength training. Do cardio around 3 to 4 times a week, and then do strength training 3 times a week. You want to build muscle, and you also want to do cardio because cardio is obviously going to burn the calories, gonna help you to get into a calorie deficit, but you don't want to overdo it with the cardio because what happens then, you're gonna get really, really hungry. So you don't want to like burn out after those 8 weeks, but you want to increase your cardio if you don't do a lot of cardio just now. If you already do a lot of cardio, increase your strength training. We want to build muscle. If you just do cardio and you're gonna be in a calorie deficit, you're gonna lose muscle, you're gonna get skinny fat eventually, and that's not what you want. I've done this before and it's not actually that nice. We want to get toned, we're gonna get lean. We don't want to just get skinny. Yeah, I always say skinny, but that's just because it's great in the algorithm. It just works well. But what I really mean is lean and toned and not just super thin. This is my 6-step process for the next 8 weeks. You've got this. I believe in you, and make sure to follow my new vlog channel because I'm gonna vlog my 8 weeks transformation, hopefully, journey on my new vlog channel. Okay guys, I speak to you soon. Bye.